Welcome everyone to another episode in 2020 of the Not PC podcast with Rob Adamus here on YouTube and www.sonotpcpodcast.com, the website. Boy, lots of news happening. Canada, States, around the world, it all ties in together. Today's particular subject, and I want to first of all thank all of the loyal viewers. Took a little bit of time between the last episode in 2019 to the ones here for 2020. A lot of changes going on, good changes going on. So that said, let's get to it. For those of you who follow the news, and I'm saying not the fake news, mainstream media, not CNN, my favorite acronym, Cuck News Network, that nobody watches. And I can say that with the utmost authority because my cousin works for Cuck News Network and he's a POS. I think you know what the acronym for that one is. And you know him, and I'm not going to say his name because of the fact that he's really not a journalist. He just reads a teleprompter. Unlike us here, this is free-flowing. This is freedom of speech, people. And a lot of what we're going to talk about today is our freedom of speech, not only in Canada being taken away, almost to the point where it's completely taken away, and what they're trying to do to President Trump down in the States. Now, what I'm referring to at this point down there is this impeachment fraud, hoax, sham, scam, whatever word you want to call it. It is what it is. And the fact is, even Democrat voters are getting on national television, trying to get bleeped out by mainstream media, of course, because they're actually saying they know it's a scam. They're not even going to vote now for the Democrat Party, regardless of who ends up as the candidate. And there isn't one candidate that can measure up to President Trump. Why? Because they're as corrupt as hell. Okay? And the ones that, like a Tulsi Gabbard, for example, who actually is suing Hillary Clinton. Well, Hillary Clinton puts out a tweet the other day saying no one is above the law, but she refuses to accept the papers to get sued by Tulsi Gabbard from someone in her own party. There you go. On and on it goes. So anyway, as this impeachment thing goes, I won't go into a lot of detail. The fact is this, that forever Nancy Pelosi, House Speaker for the Democrats, was not releasing the articles of impeachment because they were trying to hide it. They were not giving President Trump due process as he is or anyone else is allowed under the Constitution and under the law. Okay? They finally did, and what they brought forth are not impeachable offenses. Well, needless to say, President Trump, I think he already knew this because he is a very smart guy. But he has one of the best all-star law teams that I've seen in a long, long time. And when it was finally brought forth, it was beyond laughable. So I've watched social media on both sides of the border. Now, of course, up in Canada, Canadians are a lot less informed about what's going on down there because they watch the idiotic CBC, the communist bribed corporation, CTV and Global typically, where you're not going to get truthful news, especially about President Trump, where statistics actually show that over 80% in Canada of the stories are about President Trump and they're all negative. Explain that one to me. When you have the most laughed at political, and let me choke on the word leader, in regards to Justin Trudeau, because not one other leader in any other country thinks this guy is anything but like a pedo puppet, okay, who wears unmatching socks. So why isn't our media network talking about our loser prime minister when they're talking negatively about the president, who's actually doing things for his citizens of his country, and he's done more than all the presidents in the 30 years combined previously. You explain that to me. You come with the facts, come to my door. Because I will denounce you, I will debate you, I will bring all of you down who come back with me with that kind of BS. Do you research it every day? No, you don't. Do you know the facts? No, you don't. For my watchers and for people who are in the know, I know you guys know, that's the truth. So I love you guys, and I know that you're not part of that grouping that I was just talking about. But we know that impeachment down there, he's going to get acquitted. President Trump will be acquitted, no doubt, regardless of what Adam Pencil Neck pedophile Schiff does every single day with the unbelievable amount of lies that he puts forth in front of all of these people. Jerry Nadler, another piece of crap. When people within the Democrat Party are even sidelined to this, going like, I'm not going to vote for this. You got to know. You got to know. Okay? Yesterday, we had some woman, and I don't know all the details yet, but within a few minutes of what happened out in front of President Trump's estate, Mar-a-Lago in Florida, somebody went and started shooting up the front gate and everything else. There's a lot of crazed people out there. And if you want to look at it, if you ever watched the original Manchurian Candidate movie in the 70s, and the one that they did as a redo a few years ago, I believe with Liv Schreiber, that kind of gives you an idea of what goes on out there with the activation of these people. They're literally hypnotized. Yeah, a lot of them are on drugs. So, you know, whatever the poison in all of this, this is the kind of garbage that's happening. So, you know, I'm not here to say to anybody that President Trump is perfect, and no person is. He's up against an establishment that is so entrenched for hundreds upon hundreds of years. What he's been able to do in his 3 years in office, honestly, is incredible. I wish we had that kind of leader politically in Canada. And you know it, and I know you agree with me. Well, here's hoping that we all take action and we make that happen here as well. But the whole point with the impeachment trial is it should be coming hopefully to a close pretty soon. But I think it's really a diversion because the Democrats really don't believe for 1 second that they can impeach him. It's a delay tactic to try and get it all the way up to the 2020 election and somehow create in voters' minds that he's guilty of something when he isn't, so that it sways their vote. That's what Democrats do. When you bring in illegal immigrants by the tens of millions, say they don't need voter IDs, all that other stuff in order to get illegal votes to try and get in, what does that say? Well, the same thing was happening with the Liberals. What do you think they were bringing all these illegals in for? If an investigation isn't launched into the rigging of the 2019 election, I don't know what to say. I put it forth to Andrew Scheer. I put it forth to a number of the Conservative MPs. I haven't heard anything about it. My guess is it will be swept under the table for whatever its own reason. I hope not. But anyway, interesting situation came up within the last few days that is sort of a sideline but parallel to freedom of speech, to the lack of due process, because in Canada, Ezra Levant of Rebel Media put out a book recently. And what did some, I'll call them senior RCMP individuals in suits, not RCMP uniforms, suit and ties, took Ezra Levant into a room and illegally had him literally on trial in this room, and smart on Ezra's behalf, he took in a hidden camera and recorded everything. Because in his own words, he said that nobody would have believed me in what was said to me or done to me if I hadn't recorded. They were trying to take his book, Freedom of Speech, and not allow him to put his book out to the public because he wrote about Trudeau negatively. Well, you don't think I would write a book and it would be negative about Trudeau? Most people would. You're allowed to. And the fact is, they tried to take his book away from him. And kudos to Ezra for doing what he did because he knew his rights. So I just want to make a plea to the Canadian public. If you think freedom of speech is important, then you're going to do something about it. If you don't care about your rights, you're going to sit back like the majority, unfortunately, in Canada who do nothing and sit behind their closed doors and just want to be left alone. Well, excuse me, being left alone means you are a slave. That's all it is. I don't know. A lot of people don't like to hear truth, including members within my own family. I don't care. It's not the point. Truth is truth. You can hide it all you want. But truth will inevitably come out. So Trudeau and his minions, the RCMP, and I'm so disgusted that our law enforcement who take an oath to serve and protect are not doing that to the citizens of Canada. They've bought into literally martial law up here. You know, I've always been very supportive of the military, law enforcement, first responders, all that category of people, because it's important within a country. And to see what's been going on since Trudeau and the Liberals came in, disgusts me greatly. To watch what happened to Ezra, to watch a street pastor get arrested more than once just for saying out in a protest that people should read the Bible and get arrested for that. But our country has become a playground for illegals and the Islamic State. You know, President Trump is doing all he can down there in the States. I certainly hope that somehow, some way, we strap up our boots here and start doing it here, because Canada is very, very, very close to becoming a third world country. And I'm speaking impassionately here because it is. This is not a joke. I never intended to ever have a show to do stuff like this. But I feel like I have no choice. Because this is one way to get a message out there to people in order to see what's going on around you every single day. So when people like Ezra is fighting, President Trump is fighting, I'm fighting, and I know a lot of you are too. But we've got a long way to go in order to gather a lot more army members here. Because we might lose the odd battle, but we're here to win the war. And that's ultimately what this comes down to. So that said, look into, if you're following the impeachment, the fraudulent process that's going on down there, a lot of places to go. You can go to whatfinger.com. You can go to Tucker Carlson, because Tucker is great in putting forth the right, proper, truthful news. He takes people to task because they need to. Okay? Other places, yeah, even Mike Adams with naturalnews.com. He's got a lot of stuff on there. Alex Jones with InfoWars. There's tons of people who are reporting truthful news. So get on it, get behind it, start your own. As the mantra of the show is, do your own research. So there we're at the end of another show. So I thank you, folks, like always, loyal followers, first-time viewers. I hope if you're a first-time viewer that you continue to watch the show. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And share the videos. And I want to make a suggestion to people because I know YouTube has been censoring, banning videos for so long, demonetizing people. Mike Adams and naturalnews.com has an alternate platform called www.brighton.com, BRIGHTEON.com. No censoring, no banning, none of the stuff. You want to put something up there, you can. All right? So I leave that with you. Thank you so much. And as always, another show. God be with you and your family in all things. And good night.